anybody? The time is now 5:06, and this special city council meeting is now being brought to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. All right. So now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Jerry, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now it is time for the prayer of the blessing. Does anyone have anyone that they would like to remember before?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
I would ask that we keep the Rogers family, the Finney family, the Southall family, and the DeRoe family in our prayers, as all of them have lost loved ones.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead.
To remember and keep in prayer Miss Maddie Robertson and their family.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, I would like for us to remember the family of Miss Chantel Nicole Edwards, the family of Miss Chantel Nicole Edwards. So now we will have a moment of silence. All right, so now it is time for the prayer of blessing. Ms. Priestley, would you please lead us in the prayer of blessing?
Yes. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for those of us gathered here today. And Lord, I ask that you give us wisdom and courage as we do the business of the city so that we can help improve the lives of our residents. We need your guidance, Lord. And Lord, I just thank you very much for the opportunity to serve this city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. So now it's time for the reading of the Disorderly Person City Code subsection. Any person that persists in disrupting this meeting will be in violation of the Flint City Code Section 3110, disorderly conduct, assault and battery, and disorderly persons, and will be subject to arrest for a misdemeanor. Any person who prevents the peaceful and orderly conduct of any meeting will be given 1 warning. If they persist in disrupting the meeting, that individual will be subject to arrest. Violators will be removed from meetings. So now it's time for public comment. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. Live at 759 East Linden Street, over by the Graveyard Avenue. Okay. Well, for the record, through you, Madam Chair, to Miss Evil, Miss, the woman with the money bag. Priestley. We the people thank you for letting us know that we got $11 million left with the stimulation money. You didn't want to tell us, but you finally told us, and you can drop a tear on Greater Holy Temple over on George Highway, always running out of food, and the other saints on Clio Road. You don't want a tear. And again, to you, Madam Chair, through the city attorney. City attorney, we the people want to know, why come the other attorney that the mayor hired from Saginaw didn't show up today? And we want to know, is she going to get the preceding amount that Tim got before he left the administration, because she's the second in line, and we want you to share about that too. That's the reason why she ain't here, the mayor, because she gets 62 days to be qualified, and tell us about the reason she's not here. That she had a dispute or something. And another thing, for the record, the man at Hurley Hospital, Mr. Carter, he had a right to be on the Hurley Hospital board because he was there when the hospital, the emergency room always be packed, and a woman died right in Hurley Hospital, right in the emergency room because they wouldn't wait on her, and he having a problem getting promoted to the board. We the people want him to be promoted to the board, the man of color, because you know how Hurley Hospital treat the peoples of color. Like when the white man told him, don't put your black hand on my baby, and they did it anyway, and Hurley Hospital got sued, and nobody saying nothing about it. That's why we should have a man of color on, like Mr. Carter. And another thing, the Flint on University Drive, it's a children's museum over there. They say everybody is welcome. That's not true, because but the children's got to find out for themselves, because it's just like they do it anyway. And Mr. Mott, they pay their own with them black trucks. The city police can't tell them what to do because they pay Mr. Mott pockets are deep. With them black trucks, you know what, anyway, stay tuned, America, then you're gonna see how Flintstone get our money. Take that.
All right, Madam Clerk, next speaker.
The next speaker is Chad Schlosser.
Good evening, Council. Chad Schlosser here from the Mott Park neighborhood. I just want to stop in and thank you all because about a year and a half ago, I came down here and presented an idea to y'all that we had for putting in a paved pathway through Mott Park, which is one of the highest usage parks in the city of Flint, in order to provide same level access for people that have mobility issues or pushing a stroller or in a wheelchair, to provide access to our hockey court, basketball court, tennis court, bicycle garden, and the playground itself. And you approved that and funded us through ARPA funds in order to put that trail in, and we had it installed in October of this year. And I brought a picture, I want to pass around if that's okay, of our neighbor Andre, who's 27 years old. He has cerebral palsy. He's lived in our neighborhood since he was 12, and he's never had a chance to go down into Mott Park because it's set, if you've not been there, it's set in a bowl, and the hills are very steep on both sides. And so on October 28th of 2024, he was able to go down into Mott Park and enjoy everything that it has to offer for the first time in his life. His mother advised us on kind of the design and the layout of this trail. So I think people sometimes come down here and ask you guys for stuff, and I just wanted to make sure that we in Mott Park remember to come back and say thank you for partnering with us to create better opportunities for all the people of Flint. So thank you, and I'll bring this to Mr. Alameen, and if you guys can just pass it around, that'd be great. And I gotta run to another neighborhood meeting, so I can't stay, but thanks for letting me come down and share. Appreciate it.
Keep coming back, sir.
All right, next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Winters Hall.
Good evening, Council. Winters Hall, 6th Ward resident, City of Flint. Unfortunately, my council person isn't here tonight, but I will keep speaking every meeting until she shows up. It's a shame that I have to come to City Council to address being threatened and blackmailed by my own council person on her podcast about matters that have occurred in my personal life, of which none has to do with her. So what if I did anything? Does that help with the lead and other harsh chemicals in the water? Oh, wait, Winter's been texting a man. Well, that might delay the service line replacement. Then she went on to say she has receipts of a man sending me money and pictures. Oh, Lord, now just lock me up because I know that is just going to help eliminate blight. Now, do you hear how stupid that sounds? That's how stupid Councilwoman Tanya Burns sounded on her show Sunday, talking about my damn personal life on her podcast. But tonight, I'm going to be set free. Elected official, husband, anybody else, I will not be abused any damn more. Now, I will not allow her be an elected official if I didn't allow the man that I was married to for 15 years hold any motherfucking thing over my head. And excuse me for my language, but I mean it because I'm pissed off. And she claims to be the ethical one. You have to call people. She's calling people, and if she was alive, she ain't the only one recording. She's calling people across the United States to see if they got information on me. I was told to pray about it and go on. Some said just leave it alone, but The trigger was when she told me on her podcast, keep testing me. That's the same damn thing that I used to hear at home. One thing that they teach you in therapy is you got to face your situations head on. And I thank Tanya once again for bringing the date back from 2020. When she said I asked her not to say anything, she was right. I did, because she didn't know what I had to go through at home. But she knew now. If y'all could just allow me a few more seconds to wrap up. Thank you. I did ask her not to say anything because, like I said, when I got home, I knew it was going to be a fight for my life. She didn't know then, but she knew now. And she got on that podcast. It's live. It's out there. Y'all can go and watch it, where she solicited. And first she said, I didn't want to see it. It was just sent to me. Then she said, well, send me everything y'all got. And if anybody wants to see it, I'll send it to you. You broke the law. And in case she don't know the laws that she broke, MCL 750.145 and MCL 750.213, any of my personal business has nothing to do with the city of Flint. Snake bite burns.
Thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Kieran Munsinger.
Good evening, Council. My name is Karen Munsinger. I'm here today to discuss the Kersley boat launch that is owned by the City of Flint, but is maintained by me. For the last 2.5 years, I have picked up the trash and picked up the dumping that has happened at the boat launch. I have done so with the help of the Flint Golf Course allowing me to use their dumpster. I have also generated a garbage can from Genesee County Parks with a chain and a lock, and every week I go down to the boat launch, I pull that trash can, put it in my city trash, and replace the liner so that the boat launch stays clean. It is a chore, for sure. Over the last 2.5 years, while I've been maintaining the boat launch, I have tried to go through multiple city personnel, including I had emails and conversations with Susan Wilcox, Gavin Bodnar, Roy Lash. It was Amanda Edwards and Nancy that I was dealing with the Genesee County Parks and Recs, and most recently, Mr. Quincy Murphy. I'm sorry for everyone's loss on that note for the 3rd district. What I'm here to ask the council for is just a little bit of help. What I've been trying to get completed through the city is I would like a street light added to a pole number 0299234. I've checked with Consumers Energy already. It is the city of Flint that pays for that pole. I have also verified to the best of my ability that it is because this question will likely come up, it is the city of Flint that owns the boat launch. And that boat launch is not part of the rental agreement for the golf course that rents that area there. So again, what I'm asking for is a street light at the cost of $28 per year to help keep the ongoing all-night parties that happen and folks that are camping overnight that shouldn't be there, shed some light and maybe help the area be safer. I would also really appreciate a couple of signs that indicate that the area is closed at dusk. Thank you very much for your consideration.
All right, thank you. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is Daniel Tipton Jr.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Tipton Jr. I'm a resident of the 5th Ward. I'm here because I'm sort of frustrated on something that's been going on or hasn't been going on, and that's concerning a street in my ward, and that's Grand Traverse at Kersley. I've talked to my councilman a couple of years ago, and she said that it's all about funding or whatever that has to be taking place to get that road fixed. And I don't know if any of you drive down that road in front of the Brothers Keepers or down toward the distillery. I find it very embarrassing for the city to spend a lot of money all around these places for the parks, the state park and downtown, that little stretch is one of the worst parts of the road. So I'm just asking, as far as maintenance, who's the maintenance people and how that's done. My councilwoman person said that the maintenance director, whatever, said it was going to be 2 years before he even thought about it. So to me, that's something that shouldn't be put back continuously, because when people come into the city, go out the city, they cross that road. It goes so many directions. So my question is, the governor of Michigan said that one thing we should do is fix the roads, and I'm waiting and hoping that the city do something about fixing the roads. The last thing I want to say is, our mayor a couple of years ago started this program about blight, rewards for reporting blight. I'd like to know what happened to that program. I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm asking, why do the mayor or people bring up these issues or bring up things for a minute and then you don't hear nothing about it? I know the trash can issue was great for the city, but I don't know how many residents like dragging those trash cans out to the street in the wintertime. So those are some of the concerns I would just want to put on the record for myself and my ward. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Tipton. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is James Moore.
Mr. Mitchell, please. Go ahead, Mr. Moore.
Good. James Moore, 2nd Ward, just up here in regards to a chance of a lifetime. We had the opportunity to get into support behind one of our very own, Clarissa Shields. From my understanding, she will be fighting in the Flint area. And I hope that we don't show her the overlook, but that we come out and support. And if you can't afford to get in, if you can get in the parking lot, just stand hell out there and cheer for her. Let her know that Flint actually has her back, and we're thankful and grateful for what all she's been able to achieve in her life. And just to encourage her, duck, hit hard, and catch her with an uppercut.
All right, next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Next speaker is A.C. Dumas.
My name is A.C. Dumas, and I'm a resident of the 3rd Ward. And there's a couple issues of concern to me about the 3rd Ward. First of all, the so-called ambassador. I think that is an illegal position that the administration had put forth. Number one, it's not based upon the charter. I think the ambassador for the 3rd Ward should be the individual either this council should have appointed to take Mr. Murphy's place, and thereafter that the people vote for their legal, duly elected 3rd Ward council person. Those are the only two places where an ambassador should be appointed. And you know, it seems like everything happens in and about the 3rd Ward. I want to say about the opera funds. I remember the 800, if you don't want to call them applications, you can call them whatever you want to call them, because I filled out one. And I was just looking through my papers today, and I still have mine. And I think it's a shame and a disgrace that the people told the council what they wanted to do with the opera funds. Not one roof, one window, one porch, one furnace has been replaced, to my knowledge, with the opera funds. The 501c3 got plenty of money. And I was just looking at this, I was looking up some things today in the law about a 501c3 certificate of good standing is a required document that shows a nonprofit organization is in good standing with that state and authorized to do business. And before you all should given out money to 501c3, that's the first thing you should have checked. The very first thing. See, they had a certificate of good standing. I think that's very important. But again, I want to say that the ambassador and this council shouldn't let the executive branch take your authority away from you. Next thing, they'll be appointing ambassadors in your wards while you're on the council. Thank you. Can I have a few more minutes to wrap up? Madam, may I have a few more minutes to wrap up?
Go ahead, Mr. Dumas.
Thank you.
All right. So next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The final speaker for this meeting is Arthur Whitson.
Let me start off. Councilman Elamine, before the election, you told everyone that we didn't have to worry about Ms. Beverly Lewis being taken away from Hasselgreen. Tonight, you can bring that resolution with the lease back up and have everybody vote on it and put them in a position to where they can accept it or not. And that'll squash us losing money in court by paying attorneys and everything else. I mean, that would be the right thing to do because it was a lease there. And if the mayor doesn't want to go along with it, y'all have veto power. So if he doesn't sign off on it, which I think I know already signed, y'all have veto power to where he has to accept it. That would be the right thing to do because you said that you didn't have to worry about Ms. Lewis going anywhere. So I would vote to bring that resolution up and put them in a position to where either they accept it or they don't. Also, with the zoning ordinance, green innovation districts. Green innovation districts, I know at one point it was where if your house burned down, you could not build back up. Then they brought it back down here and they changed it to where you have to come down here to the planning commission and get authority to build. And all the north side and east side is green. All we can build is gardens and everything else in the green zone. So I would really love to hear more about this ordinance because all it's telling us is changing, adding, or additional criteria, requirements, and all that. We're not getting anything to tell us what it is that they're trying to change in this right here. And then the brownfield for the Flint Commerce Center brownfields plan. Who's buying that? Why would the city of Flint need a brownfield plan? Also, the bricks. Why do we have to pay for something that MDOT did? MDOT picked the contractor. If the contractor messed up, why do we have to pay for them to refix what they broke? I'm not understanding that. Why are we adding money to that? Thank you.
All right, Madam Clerk, did you say that was the last speaker?
That's correct.
All right, so now is the time for council response. Do we have any council members that would like to respond?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Alamin.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for your question in regards to the House of Brains situation. That situation in regards when I spoke in support of Ms. Beverly continuing in that position, had an opportunity to move forward at that time with the lease. And unfortunately, several colleagues on council pushed back on it. And so it got tabled at that time, even though the president had signed off on it. Then there was several other conversations in regards to trying to move forward with the lease. And part of it, I was going to pay the whole first year of the lease, and it was pushed back on that. And some other things because of other council members intervening on the issue over there, got that tabled and pushed back, so we couldn't move forward with it. And they didn't want to move forward with it as it currently stands. So as that lease stands and trying to bring something back up, that current lease is over with. And we're moving forward as it currently stands with new management and so forth. So it's no way to bring that lease back up because we're moving forward in a different direction. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else would like to respond?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Yes, so to the resident the one resident who had a concern about the light pole and maybe adding another light there, please make sure you contact me. The same with the resident who had a concern about the road area over by my brother's keeper. The city is actually looking into that, and so just make sure that you do contact me so that I have your information, so that I am able to get back with you when I do have an answer for you. I do want to correct something that I think someone accidentally misspoke on. I'm not sure because it's been said at every meeting, and I know this person has a pretty good attendance record at our meetings, but roofs have been fixed in the city with ARPA money. In the 7th Ward, several roofs have been fixed with ARPA money. The same with houses have been painted as well. So I do want to clear up the fact that no ARPA money has been used to fix roofs in the city, because that is inaccurate. Roofs have been fixed in the 7th Ward with ARPA money, as well as houses being painted, and other minor repairs have taken place as well. I do want to also take this time to point out, for my colleague in the 1st Ward, he did already point it out, but I think you also forgot to mention that the person that signed the lease with the mayor also came up here and personally asked all of us to vote that lease down. While your point does stand, that now it's already gone through legal matters there in the court, there are some other things happening, and then there's new management in place. I do think that it is important to state for the record that we were asked as a council body to not approve that lease by members who represent the board of that organization. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
I want to thank everybody who spoke, especially for bringing forward concerns that you have in your areas. That's what we're here for, is to address those. And I saw that Councilwoman Mashat did talk to you, so I'm glad that she reached out, because it's difficult to leave. But I also want to say that the picture that they showed, that we were given from Shad regarding the Mott Park, is perfect. That is exactly what those funds were designed to do. It helped the lives of the residents in that area. And I'm glad that I was able to be a part of the vote to approve those funds. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you, Ms. Priestley. Anyone else? All right, seeing that there's no one else, I'll go ahead and I will use my time. So, Mr. Tipton, we will confer with Mr. McGaha to see what can be done. Because you're right, Grand Traverse, that is a main thoroughway, and it's still part of downtown. So we'll see what we can do in terms of, you know, the infrastructure dollars, see what we can do. And again, thank you for being a resident of Flint for 30 plus years. Absolutely, and thank you for speaking out today. We definitely appreciate you coming. And next, I also would like to say to Ms. Winters Hall, I'm definitely so sorry to hear that we have a colleague that utilized her platform to blackmail Flint residents. You know, as city council members, this is not what we're here to do. We're here to talk about the good things that happen in the community, such as the installation of the fire, of the smoke detectors. We're talking about great things that should be happening. And then we're also, you know, talking about solutions to fix things. That is what we're here for. And it's very unfortunate to hear someone monetizing off of the humiliation of other city residents. And so I definitely hope that you're able to prosecute that to the fullest extent of the law. And, you know, and I empathize, because I understand when MCL 750D was violated when I was put on speakerphone. So, you know, I had people saying that you cussed out a pastor. And so those things are important. The violating of Michigan law, those things are important. So we need for everyone to make sure that they're consistently keeping the residents first. A10 Media, they're podcasts. They do podcasting things. When we enter that space, we have a higher duty. And it is our job to fulfill that, and it is the residents' job to hold us accountable. So I'm looking forward to having a good meeting and getting out here in a decent hour. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and go to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, there's a motion to approve the consent agenda. Any support? Supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Any separations?
Yeah, on a consent agenda.
Yeah. So Mr. Alamin, he seconded. And the consent agenda will include the presentation of the minutes, as well as the resolutions that we went over the last council special affairs meeting.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
I'd like to separate 2405 514.
You said
On
240?
Page 7.
Okay, got it. 514 at the bottom?
514.
Okay.
On the next page, 240-522.
Okay.
240-523.
Okay.
And then on page 9, 240-547. On page 10, 240-582.
582?
Yes.
All right, any more? All right, seeing none, the consent agenda will consist of the presentation of the minutes, in addition to resolution, with the introduction of first reading of ordinances for 240-459, resolution 240-496, resolutions 240-498, 240-506, 240-513, 240-546, 240-553.1, 240-578, 240-583, and 240-585, 250-000, 250-001, 250-002. So all those will be included in the consent agenda. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat? Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The consent agenda passes. So now we are moving to the first separation, which is appointment 240514. And it is the appointment to the Downtown Development Authority, Emily Dorr.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
move to approve.
All right, move to approve by the 4th Ward Council Lady, supported by the 7th Ward Council Lady. Roll call, not roll call, excuse me, I'm ready to go. So, any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
this candidate is the candidate present.
Excuse me, Ms. Dorr, could you please approach the lectern?
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Dorr, through the chair to you. How are you this evening?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, good. Will you share, please, one, what you understand sort of the role of serving on this board to be, and what or why you have interest in doing so?
Absolutely. The Downtown Development Authority, it's a component unit of the city, so it is a separate body with its own board, but it is still tied to the city. It's a tax capture district that was set up a number of years ago, and for the redevelopment of downtown, the board has, I think it's about 11, maybe 13 people, and they meet once a month, and in my opinion, I think it's a great opportunity to try to help bring some fresh ideas and some more energy to the board. That's why I would like to join. It is not a city slot. It is a slot that is, the mayor asked if I'm interested. I am a small business owner within the DDA. I am a resident of Flint, and so it would not be, obviously, I would not necessarily be representing my position, but rather trying to move it forward for the sake of what's best for the full city. So, yeah.
So there are those, am I to understand, based on some of what you just said, there's a difference between sort of a seat at large and those designated for the city?
I don't know that there is a specific seat on the DDA board that must be held by a staff person. I do not think that that exists per the bylaws of that body. They do have, if you look at the bylaws, there are some comments around people having a resident who lives within the DDA. They do to say that they want at least one person who lives within the district. I do not have that. They also do want some business owners and then also other stakeholders, but they do not have a specific city employee slot.
Okay.
The mayor is the chair of the board. That is true. But other than that, when I read it, I did not see that.
Okay, I yield. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
Ms. Dorr, I think your energy would be fabulous on this board. And as a stakeholder, as a business owner, a successful business owner that I like to go to, I think you'd be a perfect candidate to breathe some new life and new air into that board. Thank you for allowing your name to be put forward.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Ms. Dorr, with the work that you've done to the city, how you've helped us vastly improve, I no doubt that you are a much-needed voice on this board. I'm happy to support your appointment to the board, because if it's anything like the work you've done here at the city, then they are in good hands with having you added to that board. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? All right, seeing no one else, I'll go ahead and take my time. Ms. Dorr. You know economic development. You know real estate. You are a forward thinker. You have a network that is essential to the city of Flint. So you are not just a business owner. I mean, you are a key component of downtown. And just like they said, your energy is just amazing. And a lot of people utilize your business. A lot of people come through you. Ms. Dorr, we appreciate you for choosing Flint. And so you definitely have my vote. And I hope that this body unanimously vote to approve you so we can move on and continue to do great things for the city. All right, anyone else in the second round? Seeing no one else, Madam Clerk, let's call for the vote.
Ms. Lewis.
Yes.
Ms. Priestley.
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. So that resolution is approved. So next, we're moving on to Resolution 240522, the appointment of Marsu Hussey. What's the pleasure of the body?
Support.
All right, motion to approve by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward, supported by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward. Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Jarrett.
is this candidate present?
No, he's not. He came to the last meeting. He was in a bad car accident. He had a neck brace and he was. Pardon? My bad, man. Go on. Thank you. And so, pardon me? Okay, so no, so he's not able to attend. He was in excruciating pain last accident. Last meeting. But he did make an honest effort. We just didn't get to him in time.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I would like to acknowledge the fact that he did attempt to stay, well, he actually stayed pretty much the whole last meeting to speak on his own behalf. I know that our colleague in the first ward was on this board. He can speak to the importance of having that resident liaison there, or that resident in this position. And I'll yield so that my colleague in the first ward can talk about the importance of him being on this board. But again, our last council meeting, he was present.
Thank you, Ms. Mashat. Anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
just to add to what Councilwoman in the 7th Ward had mentioned in regards to the gentleman showing up at the last meeting with the neck brace because of the car accident. But this position is very important. Housing has been struggling to find someone that's a resident that qualifies and wanted to step up and volunteer their time. And I think he'll be a great fit. We have his resume and everything. So we looked over, he has great qualities and he's passionate about being on this board. So I think it would be, if we can support this, I think it would really help them over there, as they have had HUD and other individuals potentially wanting to intervene because the lack of having a residential commissioner hasn't been there for quite some time. And this is a very critical position and that needs to be filled. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing that there's no one else, I would like to also add, I had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Hussey, and it is a testament and it shows his level of commitment, the fact that he pressed his way so he can address council at last meeting. He sat for as long as he could, he walked around, he sat, he walked around, and it was hours before we were able to even get to the committee. So the fact that he knew that he was in excruciating pain, he came out so he could still be responsive to the council. It says a lot. It speaks to commitment. And unfortunately, that's one thing that we don't have on a lot of these committees. We don't have committed people. We have people that sign up and say, I want to be a part of this committee, and you never see them again. So Mr. Hussey's shown that sickness or in health, I'm going to be here and I'm going to serve. So with that being said, in addition to his resume, I am looking to approve the advisor because through you, Mr. Alamin, you said that resident position have been vacant for some time. Do you know how long it's been vacant?
I want to say about a year, close to a year. It's been quite some time.
Okay, and seeing how having a resident commissioner is essential to funding, we don't want to hold up funding because we see a lot of great new development coming to the city of Flint. And we don't want to be an impediment to that when we have a resident commissioner that's ready to jump in the game and get it going. So we want to go ahead and call for anyone to speak in the second round. All right, seeing that there's no one to speak in the second round, we'll go ahead and call for the vote for Mr. Hussey. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no, so that resolution passed. So now we're on to our next separation, which is under licenses, and it is Resolution 240. Nope. Did I miss one? Oh, I'm so sorry. I missed Mr. Kennedy. Thank you so much. All right, so we are on to the other appointment, 240-523. Pleasure of the body.
Motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve by the councilman in the 4th Ward. And anyone going to support it? Supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Mr. Jarrett, you got any discussion?
Yes. Is Mr. Kennedy, is this candidate present?
No, he's not present today because he was present last meeting and he spoke. Yeah, he came to the last meeting. And just a FYI, Mr. Jarrett, I know we're on your time, and his appointment was sent to council by the body for approval.
Madam Chair.
Oh, no, it's still his time.
No, sorry.
I yield.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
Madam Chair, so this situation where we're asking if candidates are present, I believe I know the appointments were on the last council meeting. People don't want to come to our council meetings anymore if they are being appointed. They can sit here. We had Mr. Schultz sitting here for 3 hours or more. Yeah, he left around, what, 11 o'clock? I don't remember. I just looked up and he was gone. People don't want to sit here and wait and spend their evening listening to us go round after round after round. They just don't. So I don't hold it against them if they don't come. And if they're on committee and they're on government ops, it takes forever to get to that committee. So I don't hold it against them, and I don't hold it against them in my votes. Thank you.
All right, anyone else?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Elamine.
just like to add again that Mr. Kennedy did show up and he spoke and answered questions from all our colleagues when he did show up. And again, just to echo, when you have individuals willing to volunteer their time for certain appointments and board positions, I think we should really consider that, how hard it's been to try to fill some of these seats, especially over at housing. So definitely he will get my support. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? See, if there's no one else, I'll go ahead and utilize my time. So, Mr. Jarrett, since he already came to council last meeting, he didn't know that he wasn't told to come back because he already came. And so that's why he's not here tonight. It wasn't because of a lack of interest or a lack of commitment. He came and he stayed several hours, and he did get an opportunity to speak and to compel council to appoint him based off of his resume. So I hope that was enough. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask the body. And we will go into the second round. Anyone else in the second round?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
maybe to make a, whether the term is subordinate or subsidiary or substitute motion, to move this to our next council meeting.
Oh, okay, so you want to put a motion on the floor to keep this in council?
Keep it in council.
Oh, okay, so there's a motion on the floor to keep Resolution 240523 in council. Any support? All right, hearing none, that motion dies for lack of support. All right. So, anyone else?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
So, it's already been said 3 different times, so I'm just repeating something that was already stated, in the fact that not only was he here last meeting, but he also spoke and council passed him through. I understand my colleague in the 9th Ward was absent, but what I would ask is that we not hold up someone that did show up to a meeting, that did have an opportunity to speak, and that although our other council colleagues are absent, that they also voted for him to move forward, to be moved to council. I ask that we would not hold that up simply because of an absent colleague. Thank you.
Request for
Yep,
information.
go ahead. What's your request? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Through you to the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know when the next meeting is for this committee?
No, sir. I do not know when the next meeting for the Flint Housing Commission is, but I do know everything that I previously stated, and I will yield my time.
Oh, okay. So, Mr. Elamine, do you know when the next Housing Commission meeting is?
Not at this time.
Okay, it's not like set.
That's not on the schedule.
Okay, got it. All right. So I'll go ahead and utilize my time. Mr. Jarrett, what is your reservation? You have any reservations? Okay, so when you say
Request for information.
what is your request?
Through you to my colleague, would you share why we are moving something that you missed because you did not come to work, but he did not because he did come?
Him being here, he could have gotten approved then.
All righty.
Madam Chair.
So this is my time. So I just want to be clear, this is my time. And yeah, so right. So one thing that we don't want to have happen, we don't want to make it appear that we are utilizing our elected seats for retaliation. You know, and I really don't understand because Mr. Okay, so are we getting advisement from the first row? What is happening? Okay, I want to make sure I heard what I was hearing. So I'm just asking my colleague to please listen to your other colleagues. In addition to, take a look at his resume or watch the tape that you missed. We had Mr. Kennedy at the lectern. And when he was at the lectern, he spoke to every single present council member. This body agreed to send him to, through you, Madam Clerk, do you have the vote for Mr. Kennedy when we sent his resolution to council?
It's in the minutes.
Request for information.
Yes.
Are we in regular council now or a special council before the council he otherwise would have been placed on the agenda for?
Could you please repeat that? Because we wouldn't have a special council meeting if you would just vote to handle the business of the city on Monday. So,
He wasn't here.
I understand, but the other meetings that we've had, when we attempt to get the business done on Monday, we have colleagues that vote against putting the elections last so we can handle the business of the city. But again, this looks like another way to halt the business of the city. But Madam Clerk, do you have the vote?
No, but I can,
I've got it. It's right in the minutes on page 207.
Okay. Go ahead, you said page 207?
Yep. It was part of the consent agenda. Point of information.
Okay, go ahead.
It was part of the consent agenda, which passed 7-0.
Okay, so his vote to go to council passed 7-0.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. So Mr. Treadell Kennedy, I was here when he spoke. He has my vote. According to his resume, he's more than qualified. He showed up. He spoke to the body. That's what a lot of members say that they want to have happen. He got the approval, so he will, again, receive my vote. Want to make sure that we're not utilizing our seats for retaliation. When asked if my colleague had reservations on what were they so the body can also hear them, he refused to share, so here we are. We don't want to use our seats for retaliation again. So we're going to go ahead and go and proceed with the vote. Yeah, with second round. Well, this is second round. Yeah, so this is second. Because I was speaking. All right, so I usually go last. So did you have?
I did. I didn't realize. So I would like just a few minutes. It is important to discuss about what happens at our regular meeting is that we get bogged down round after round after round. We make multiple motions to go to the city business and are turned down. Thus, we are here in a special council meeting. And nothing that's on this council meeting agenda came from any committee. It's everything that was on, not everything, but a lot of what was on the council meeting for last Monday. So everything that's on this agenda that you see was passed by the body to council. And I just wanted to make sure that, that my colleague in the 9th Ward understood that because we weren't able to do the business and vote on him last Monday, he was that we have to do it now in order to get this part of the business done. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Priestley. So thank you for that closing. And we're going to go ahead and call for the vote for Resolution 240523, the appointment of Mr. Treadell Kennedy to the Flint Housing Commission. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
No.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley? Yes. The vote is 4 yes, 1 no.
The vote is 4 yes, 1 no, so that resolution fails. So moving on to licenses. License 240547. Go ahead. All right, there's a motion to approve by the councilwoman in the 4th Ward, approved by the councilwoman in the 7th Ward. Any discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
So, I'm not a proponent of marijuana, and I drive by Gage every day, and I can smell it a mile on either side. When they came, didn't realize my mic was on. When they came before us, I specifically asked about air filtration and how close the neighbors were to this property. And there is no neighbors in any locality near them. So, and there's also, because it's gone through all of the processes and been approved all the way around, there is no reason for us not to approve it. This is the final step, and they have spent millions to get here. Thank you.
All right, anyone else in the first round?
Chair.
Mr. Jarrett?
Through you to, name escaping me right now, the gentleman that's over our, this division. I'm sorry, sir. Name is escaping me right now.
Montel.
Thank you. Mr. Montel. Is this the gentleman, I'm trying to remember back, I believe this was the gentleman that you came before us with in December, and this is the one with the, like 3 years or something like that? Mm-hmm. And yes. Is he the one who bought the property a few years ago that we had a lot of conversation in the council about?
Yes.
Okay. So it's now getting to us to pass through here. When is he looking, or how long before he's functioning in whatever full capacity?
He's done. He has his certificate of occupancy. This is the final step.
Okay, so he'll be ready to start doing whatever part of the process he's going to be doing here soon.
Yeah, tomorrow probably.
Okay, and this being grow, mm-hmm. And is there a plan for retail or whatever other?
No.
So just grow here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what are the projections for tax revenue to the city with this particular site? Any idea?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. That's what I want to clarify for myself.
Is that your time? Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Menifee, can you explain the process and what happens once it's before the council and what that means?
So what the process means?
Simply meaning they've already gone through planning, they've gone through everything else, correct?
Oh, yes.
And that once it's in front of the council, at that point, everything is set for them. It's only up to council to approve or be sued, correct?
Oh, for sure.
Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I yield.
All right. Anyone else in the first round?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Alderman.
through you to Mr. Menifee, just real quick, I know he came up and spoke about, we already done kind of been through this. I just wanted to know, it was brought up about the community benefit aspect of it. Has he been looking at some ideas and ways he can really assist the individuals from the community?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, he had applied before. We had a lot of these protections, like as far as community benefits, blight plans, and things like that. But, you know, on his own, he has acquired the property, did clean up, and he's also presented a blight plan to the city to help us out.
Thank you, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right, see, I'm the last person I will go ahead and ask. So Mr. Menifee, question for you. So hearing that this has been approved by everybody and be approved by the gentleman came last meeting and he stayed for countless numbers of hours waiting to be approved. So if we do not approve this, will we be putting ourselves in position for litigation?
We have done it several times, yes.
Oh, okay, so we will be in position for litigation. So all we have to do is approve someone that went through the process, every single step, and got approved by every single board, or we can get sued and still have to approve them and still have to pay court fees and stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, it won't even come back to you guys. It'll be the judge making a decision, and we have to go with what the court say.
Right, but we still be out of court fees and money that we didn't have to be out of, because they still get what they signed up for.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
yes.
and there's, right, okay, just checking. So thank you for your service, and we definitely appreciate your client for choosing Flint again. And it definitely has my support, because we can't be a roadblock to businesses. It's just not an option, especially when they come to council and they don't get an opportunity to be heard for various reasons. You know, they come because they expect business to be handled in Flint. We come because we expect business to be handled in Flint. So thank you again. You have my support, and I'll call for anyone else in the second round. Seeing that there's no one, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no, so that resolution has been approved. Now we're on to our last separation of the evening. It is Resolution 240582. Pleasure of the body.
Madam Chair, motion to approve.
All right, motion to approve. Any support? Supported by the councilman in the first ward. Any discussion? Any discussion in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
The question through you to
They're coming.
Good evening, guys.
good evening.
Hello. Hi, guys.
The major street fund, what's the genesis of those dollars? Where do they come from? Are those federal dollars? Are those City of Flint dollars that we allocate? Exactly where are those?
Yeah, good question. $202 are essentially state gas and weight taxes that are divided to each municipality in Michigan based off of a calculation in the law of Act 51. So they're gas and weight tax.
So let me make sure I'm understanding. Basically, those are state taxes that are collected and then allocated for this type of service.
Yes, yeah, so like
Okay.
when you go to like the Secretary of State, pay your tags,
Okay,
portion of that comes to City of Flint, and
Good.
the sales tax on gases.
okay,
Yeah.
good. So this is coming out of that. What other ways or projects can these funds be used for? Does it have to be an MDOT project, or could we use these same funds, for example, Grand Traverse that we're talking about?
Oh, yeah, so we have, our streets department is funded on 202 and 203 on those gas and weight taxes, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we currently do have, like programming in the community that we currently use those taxes for.
Now, if you would share again, in this resolution, what are we paying for and why? How much time did I originally have?
You had 3 minutes.
This is the first round.
It's the second.
Yeah, this is for specifically the undercut for the soil around the water pipes below the bricks. They had to dig down deeper than they initially anticipated, so we had a contract modification for this change order.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Priestley.
So I realized that my colleague didn't realize at the first round, no one wanted to speak fast enough, so she went on to the second round. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions that we had discussed at the committee meeting. So when the bricks had to be removed because they were improperly laid, we did not pay for anything. This does not cover for those expenses. It's just because of the water pipes, right?
Yes.
And so this has nothing to do with relayment of the bricks. It's because of something that we did wrong, or just clarify the water pipe, because it was hard to hear you when you were
No,
speaking.
yeah, it does not have anything to do with the bricks.
Yeah. We have a note here. It's just for the undercut of poor soils. That's from Kevin Cook, who is the wage trim engineer, our project manager over that program. So that's the note that he wanted us to share with you guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Did that, through you to Mr. Jarrett, did that answer your questions?
That's good information. Thank you.
You're welcome. I knew you were shocked at your timing. I'm done.
All right, anyone else in the second round? All right, seeing there's no one else, we'll call for the vote for resolution 240582. This is the reconstruction of the Saginaw Street bricks. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Mashat? Yes. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no, so that resolution passes.
That's our last resolution?
Yes, it is. So do we have any
Motion to
final counsel?
adjourn.
All right, so there has been a motion to adjourn, supported by the councilman in the 7th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Jarrett? Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Mashat? The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no, and this special city council meeting is now adjourned at 6:20 p.m.
Whoops, wait a minute. I'm going to wait. They got to get the speaker slips out. I'm waiting. They're putting the slips back there now. No. Oh, they were? Oh. The time is now 6:21, and I hereby call this Finance Committee of the Flint City Council to order.
Would you please bring the speaker slips to the front? Thank you.
Don't argue with our staff, please.
Please do not speak to the staff. What's her name? Tell her to come up here, Davina.
Christelle.
Come on, the
Christelle,
meeting
come
has
on.
started.
We started.
The meeting has started.
We need the roll call, please. Christelle. Christelle.
Excuse
Christelle.
me, Mr. Woodson is in violation
Yep.
of the
Mr.
safety plan. You cannot harass the staff.
That is your first warning. Yep. Mr. Woodson. Mr. Woodson. The slips are back there. We're not going to argue. Mr. Woodson, we need to call the roll. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Mr. Woodson, you may leave this meeting, please.
Now you gotta lead a meeting?
Mr. Woodson, leave it, Christelle. It's all right, Christelle, we got your back. I would like Mr. Woodson removed for arguing.
For the record, every meeting, after the council speaks, we put out speaker slips for the next meeting. I did not make an announcement like I usually do, but those speaker slips have been out there since the council finished their speaking portion of the meeting. So those speaker slips have been back there. They are always out there before the start of this meeting. Once that gavel goes down, you cannot fill out a slip. I say this every meeting. This is the same people that are here every meeting. It's the same rules every meeting. We put those speaker slips out as soon as the council is done with their speaking portion.
The members of this body will not tolerate our staff being abused, verbally or any otherwise. They are doing their job. And Mr. Woodson, you are interfering with this meeting. I'm asking you to leave. I'm asking you to leave. I don't care who you're talking to. I'm asking you to leave. This is the fourth time I've said, I'm telling you to leave.
And this is the second time that you've spoken to my staff disrespectfully because of speaker slips.
Madam Chair.
What is your... Yes.
Excuse me, according to our public safety plan, number 6, respect for city officials and prohibited behavior, attendees are prohibited from yelling at or threatening the city clerk, city council secretary, city attorney, or other city employees during meetings. Any threats or aggressive behavior towards these officials or employees will result in immediate removal and possible arrest. Immediate removal and possible arrest. So, Mr. Woodson, according to our public safety plan, which has been approved by our police chief, you have to leave this meeting for your aggressive behavior towards city staff. Again, he should be leaving and walking. There is no reason why he should be in the meeting still talking. We have a meeting.
Excuse me, before we
Roll-
do roll call,
Yes.
can you read that rule again? Because everybody needs to be very clear that our staff will not be abused.
This is rule number 6 of our Flint City Council Public Safety Plan, which was implemented to keep everyone in the chamber safe. Number 6, respect for city officials and prohibited behavior. Attendees are prohibited from yelling at or threatening the city clerk, council secretary, city attorney, or other city employees during meetings. Any threats or aggressive behaviors towards these officials or employees will result in immediate removal and possible arrest.
And again, I want to state for the record to everyone here, when we have these meetings that are doubled up like this, we have a special meeting today with the regular committees. When we used to put all the slips out, it was confusing. People would fill out one slip, so we start putting the slips out separately. When you walk in, it's for the first meeting of the day, and then we switch them out to the second meeting of the day. They're in the back. You can see Christelle, she's been doing it every meeting. She walks back there and switches those slips as soon as the council response is done. So we cannot help. I usually make an announcement, but the meetings start. Once the gavel bangs, we have to pick up the slips.
Madam Clerk, roll call.
Mr. Al-Alamin. Ms. Lewis.
Present.
Ms. Priestley.
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat.
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett. You have 5 members present.
There are 5 members present. Are there any requests for agenda changes? Yes. I believe that's all there is. Yep. Seeing there's no agenda changes, we'll go ahead and go on to public comment. Members of the public will receive 3 minutes. I do not allow extra time, so watch your time. Once 3 minutes hits, we're done. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The first speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing today? First of all, I want to speak up in behalf of St. Mark's. Can y'all please do something to put them on the agenda for Monday? That program right there, as I know of it, is funding itself, and it's not fair. It's not right. It's residents from all over the city of Flint that pile up in those lines. So whatever going on that's preventing y'all from doing what's right, stop it and do what's right. This is a simple situation right here. If y'all want to break it down and give them $25,000 now and wait a couple months and give them another $25,000, I'm cool with that. But immediately give him something before the next drive, which probably ain't this Wednesday, but if it's not this Wednesday, it will be next Wednesday. So, and another question I have, so if they are funding this on their own, is there any way that they can be refunded for the weeks that they have already put this service on to the community of Flint? And another one is, I'll have the petitions here for people to sign for Justice O'Ravon. And I thought it was only 1, but it's 2. And the second one, I'm kind of confused because y'all didn't even pay this, the city didn't even pay this family any honor or respect about showing up at the funeral or giving any recognition to this family about this heartache. And I just feel it's a shame. But We got 2,000 or more citizens that's going to sign this petition. And whether y'all join in or not, we're going to stand up for our city. And we're going to demand that we be treated right. Because a young man getting shot in his back like that, and the quietness coming from our city just ain't right. Remember this, all y'all can be affected like this. It can be a neighbor, it could be a nephew, it can be a niece, it could be a brother, it could be a sister, it could be a mother. That can be next. So we should have been done this 3 years ago when Vondrese Davis got killed in that police chase. But we was quiet. But guess what? We're not going to be quiet this time. We're not going to be quiet this time. Thank you, and please join the fight.
Next speaker. Oh, my fault.
The last speaker for this meeting is R.L. Mitchell.
10th Ward.
Good evening, Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. Ms. Priestley, to you, through the city attorney, you noticed the last council meeting, city attorney, you didn't even make the effort to answer the question like the woman of color, African America, took Asian situation, Tim, that Chinese looking guy, he got an unprecedented salary, get paid for more people, more than any lawyer in the whole United States. And I don't want to mention his salary. We asked, did the woman of color get the same amount when she hired on from Pontiac and brought her back for the mayor? And you attempted to say nothing, like you're looking over there now, just looking down, and then, sir, do you hear me? You understand the words that are coming up? Oh, I'll see you. Okay, cool. Now, Ms. Priestley, to you, back to them, you said we got $11 million left, and I asked you to drop a tear on Greater Holy Temple Church of God in Christ on Door Highway. But before you do that, you can drop a tear on what the man just got through mentioning. The old people's over there paying out of their pocket, the feed people's in the ghetto, over there in 2nd Ward neighborhood. And like the one on Stewart Avenue, across where they're making them little houses for the veterans anyway, they keep going along with their own money, like Mike keeping his own money. And now, back to the situation in Flint with Felicia Shields fight. Felicia Shields, I hope you're watching this situation here right now, what this council is going on. You see the mayor call himself calling the shots like the president of the United States doing right now. People of color talking about even though you're born in the United States, doesn't mean he's gonna try to get you African Americans and people like the attorney. He said he was born in the United States, but he ain't all that. He looked like that. Well, anyway, to get more money in Flint, I want you to stage a fight with the rooster of the city hall. You know who that is, and we can get all kind of money in here and talk about. Hello,
Mr.
Evelyn,
Mitchell.
could you look up? And
Mr. Mitchell.
Ma'am?
Please be respectful of the council members. Thank
But
you.
ma'am, okay, like I say, and like Tanya Barnes, get ready for the second stalemate award from Philadelphia when First Ward talk about, you see my work?
Thank
They
you.
finna close cap in the senior
Thank
citizen
you.
over, finna get kicked
RL.
in the bus like they kicked Megs in the all.
Mr. Mitchell. Council members shall have 2 minutes to respond to any public comment. Is there anyone who wishes to address the public? Is there anyone who wishes to respond?
I do.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, thank you so much, Madam Chair. And to Mr. Jones, so I heard you mention what council should be doing. And, I just wanted to highlight a few things that council members are doing. Council members are reading their agenda. Council members are showing up to work. Council members are doing seminars on home foreclosures, expungement fairs. Council members are focusing on fire safety, conducting neighborhood meetings, supporting local schools, attending conferences. So I just encourage you to reach out to those that are not doing anything, because they have the extra time to deal with what you are referring to. Unfortunately, we were elected to serve. Some of us serve, some of us don't. So I'm looking forward to continuing to serve in the 2nd Ward in my official capacity as the 2nd Ward City Council person, where they have elected me and said no to the recall 5 times. This is important to do the work. So so please reach out to those that you don't see out here active. I encourage you to continue to stay active, continue to have a passion to fight for the community. But please, pick and choose your allies wisely, Mr. Jones. And we see that. So thank you so much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. No, this is no back and forth. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Mr. Jones. I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda. You have to make a motion before you can support it. It's been moved by Councilwoman Mashat to approve the consent agenda. It's been supported by Mr. Al-Alamin. Is there any separations? Yes. Go ahead. Total separation. All right. So our first resolution. Just a second. Let me type my note. That doesn't. All right. So our first resolution is 250026. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a motion to bring Mr. Jones to order for talking loud.
Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones? It seems like every meeting I've had to call your attention to that you are disrupting meetings. Please, the next time you will receive a warning. Go ahead. Is there a motion to, for resolution 250026?
Madam Chair, I want to make a motion to send that to council.
There's motion on the floor to send it to council by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward. Is there support? It's been supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Any discussion? Go ahead, Ms. Mashat.
Is there someone here who can speak to this grant?
Here comes Mr. Edwards. Come on up, Mr. Edwards.
Y'all, we should be able to pause our time when they walking slow.
I know.
This is Resolution 250026-T, which is the grant agreement for auto theft enforcement program, Genesee Auto Interface Network, also known as GAIN. And as I was reading through this, I just have a couple of, because there are several different police agencies that will be a part of fulfilling the obligations in this grant. And so I guess my first question is, are we paying the wages for everybody that is associated with this grant? How is this working?
Yeah, you would probably have to direct my attention to that part where you said there were several other agencies. Yeah, that's
correct. So the other agencies that have also agreed to this, we have Genesee County Sheriff's Office, which understandably, we have the Metro Police Authority, which I know a lot of residents are not clear on who, what, where, when, and why when they are involved. City of Flushing, Flint Township Police Department, City of Flint Police Department, City of Burton Police Department, City of Grand Blanc Police Department, Grand Blanc Township Police Department, Davison Township Police Department. And I think that those are all the ones who are a part of this agreement, and it's multi-jurisdictional. And so help us understand what we're seeing here when we're looking at this grant. Is this covering more than just the city of Flint, or is this only the city of Flint? And then where we kind of cross those jurisdictions, or we share some boundaries that they will also help me understand what area this grant covers.
This award is strictly for the city of Flint. So
Strictly for the city of
This was
Flint.
award, yeah, the gain and all of those law enforcement is often a collaborative effort to provide auto anti-theft activities.
Correct.
But this grant was awarded to the city of Flint's police department, and subsequently it talks about the match, which comes out of city of Flint. But this is all city of Flint.
All right, and do you know if the other jurisdictions will receive a similar grant? I know that might not be something you're aware of, but, okay. And then when we talk about, because I see here, as a part of this agreement, it states that the other jurisdictions will be responsible for any costs or anything that is associated with any activities that they have to do regarding this grant. So does that simply put mean that, so if for whatever the reason they happen to apprehend someone that is not the Flint Police Force happens to apprehend someone committing a crime in Flint, but you have one of the other jurisdictions that catch that person?
Well, I think I can,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that you can think of a vast number of circumstances that would call for other financial engagements. I know of situations where there have been chase activity and people's property have been damaged. If in pursuit of recovering a vehicle takes us from Flint to Davison or to Burton or some other community, and damages occur as a part of that process, there is a situation where you have to talk about who's going to pay for that damage, especially if it involved multiple police departments. So that's where the lines get blurred when you start talking about pursuit and recovery of vehicles in multiple jurisdictions. That would have nothing to do with the grant per se. That would have to do with those particular departments.
Right, because here it says that, and I don't mean to cut you off, but each party shall be responsible for its own acts, the acts of its employees and the agents, the costs associated with those acts, and the defense of those acts.
Yes. Sorting that out sometimes can be a complicated process, though.
Got it. So they are, I got 25 seconds left. So they are agreeing to help meet the, I can't think of the word, but help meet what the grant requires. But any of the wages, full-time holiday pay, compensation, all of that will be City of Flint Police Department only will be getting paid from this grant for that work?
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the first round? Anyone else in the first round? Anyone in the second round?
Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and would you happen to have a projection of how much vehicle theft you hope to curb with this grant?
And I'm sorry, that would be a question for the chief. Chief's actually on a call right now. So
do you have any facts and figures of how much auto theft we currently have in the city?
Not at this point. It could be something that could be obtained by your Monday meeting.
All right, so I would like to make a substitute motion to move this to special affairs as opposed to council, so that we can give the chief a chance to speak to this grant and some of the questions that we might have.
Okay, is there support? There's a motion on the floor to send it to special affairs. Okay, it's been moved properly seconded to send to special affairs. This is the vote to send it to special affairs.
Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to Special Affairs. The next resolution is 250027, authorizing Arrowhead Upfitters for upfitting of 6 PSV and 6 SSV police vehicles. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to send resolution 250027-T to council.
Is there support? It's been moved and properly seconded to send 250027 to council. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the first round? Any discussion in the second? Seeing no discussion, this is the vote to send 250027 to council.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That will be sent to council.
Motion to adjourn.
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Is there support? It's been moved and properly seconded. Let's go ahead and do the vote.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That we are adjourned at 6:48.
The time is now 6:48 p.m. I call this legislative committee meeting to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Present.
Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Present. You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Are there any requests for agenda changes or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes or additions, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. Do want to remind everybody that you are subject to the disorderly persons city code subsection. First public speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is Rich Jones. Next speaker is R.L. Mitchell.
Good evening, Council. I'm R.L. Mitchell. And, Ms. Priestley, just because you smell marijuana a mile away from St. John Street, messing with the Dope Boys project, because they already been approved, they've already bought the property, and you up there trying, but you still approve it, right? You the only one. There's no houses around there. The Boat Boys trying to make another comeback like they did 25 years ago when they introduced that stuff to Flint, until the other Dope Boys ran them out of here, but they already got established. And it's all Flint always trying to discourage the dope boy. It is not racial because the white boy is in charge. He bought with his money, but the black boy don't want to be transparent with Tarzan. That's why probably ain't here tonight. And another 2 chairs empty for 5th Ward and 6th Ward because she don't want to deal with the Philadelphia and take up in the court, and she won the whole case. That's why she got the Nobel Peace Prize. Stalemate. And took a picture of the woman of the 2nd Ward, and she was frowning up like you should have seen her face in the red rooster, so to speak, and want to henpeck somebody. She, like I say, you want to fight Felicia Shields, and she'll set it up for you. I'm going to take on Tarzan, him and his brother, a black woman, and already when she knocked the women out, they automatically think a black woman is the man. The woman protest, I can't believe that junk. I remember little sister Shields was about 3 years old, walking around down there on Jamison Street, over there back. But I'm proud of, gotta watch my background. Hey, man, what? I thought you and Worcester got jumped on by the clans out there.
Mr. Mitchell, continue your time at the lectern or relinquish the floor.
Yes, ma'am. Like I say, hello, Mashak. I'm back. R.L. Mitchell, speaking for Dr. Woodson. Y'all gonna get enough of messing with that darky, because he ain't no joke.
Mr. Mitchell, I've asked you time and time again to refrain from using that terminology.
Yes, dear.
Thank you.
Wow, sound like I'm rooster peck. I'm rooster peck by the right rooster, by the right end. Anyway, like I said, Miss Priestley, keep doing the good work, and like you're doing, and don't run the dope boys out, because we got to have some change in this town. And America, stay tuned, because you're going to see how the president deal with Flint when he come back to Flint. Ran out of Flint by a reverend lady over on...
Thank you. Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
That was the last speaker for this meeting.
All right, seeing as how that was the last public speaker, it is now time for council response. Is there any council member who wishes to speak during council response? Seeing as how there's no one that wishes to speak during council response, I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
So moved.
Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 1st Ward. Are there any separations? Seeing as how there are no separations, we can...
Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
240430.1.
All righty. Are there any more separations? Seeing as how there... All right.
Yeah, total separation.
All right, moving on to ordinance 240426.1-T, which is the amended ordinance code amendment ordinance chapter 24, housing article 4, fair chance access to rental housing, sections 24-114 to 24-127. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 2nd Ward.
I would like to leave this here in legislative.
There's a motion on the floor to leave it here in legislative. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported by the councilman in the 9th Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That resolution stays in legislative committee. Moving on to ordinance 240430.1-T, which is the amended ordinance code amendment ordinance chapter 25, community development article 1, community benefits agreement, sections 25-1 to 25-7. What is the pleasure of the body?
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the 4th Ward.
Move to council.
There's a motion on the floor to move to council. Is there support? It's been moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the second ward.
Madam Chair.
Councilwoman in the fourth ward, you have the floor.
Through you to Ms. Dorr.
Ms. Dorr, please join us at the lectern. You want to start your question while she's on her way?
We discussed this outside of council, and you had some concerns about how this is designed. Can you give us some kind of idea of how you would change things, or what you don't like about what's in there?
Good evening. I know that I was asked about enforcement at the last meeting, and I do think it would be easier to have enforcement if there was some more specificity in the language, so we could just do a little bit of tweaking. I guess I do want to reiterate that I think a community benefits ordinance is wonderful because there is lots of opportunity here in Flint because of the land we have and the economic development and the growth that we are that's happening right now and will keep happening. But I also think that the specificity needs to be added around what is expected for different tiers and what also would be the enforcement mechanism for different types of incentives that are given. And that is not currently outlined.
Is that something that your office can work on and give to the city attorney's office to update the resolution or the ordinance?
That's not how that's going to work, but go ahead.
But no, I'm just, let me ask the question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can do whatever we are instructed. I think we also have lots of other stakeholders in the community who might have other concepts or ideas around some of this as well that could be incorporated. So we could have public input sessions. We could work just with our legal office to look at other examples. We could brainstorm internally. There's a lot of different options that depending on what this body wants.
Okay. I'm going to yield my time to my other colleagues to see if they have any questions.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion?
Madam Chair.
Councilman in the first ward, you have the floor.
To you, to Emily, yes, I would definitely like to work with you on this. I know it was brought up at the last meeting in regards to you guys may have some different examples where we can add some more language into this to kind of tighten some of the areas up. So I definitely would be open to having that conversation with you and your team. Thank you.
All righty. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the first round of discussion? Nobody else in the first round of discussion. Is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion?
Madam Chair,
Councilwoman in the fourth ward.
I make a motion to postpone indefinitely.
So I hear your motion, but I was going to speak in the second round, but there's a motion on the floor to postpone indefinitely. We can go with it. Is there support?
No support.
There's no support. That fails for lack of support. Continuing the second round, is there anyone else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion? All right, seeing how there's no one else who would like the floor in the second round of discussion, I will go ahead and take my time. I do think that this ordinance has been definitely a labor of love. It's been worked on. I know that there are a lot of community stakeholders that have already been talked to about this ordinance. I do hear what you're saying as far as you have some suggestions as far as enforcement. We definitely want to work with you as far as enforcement goes. This ordinance is very near and dear to my heart, seeing as how I am the one that introduced it and has been working on it for a year. So I would ask my colleagues the courtesy of working with me to change my ordinance. That would be greatly appreciated. If that's nothing else, I guess there's a motion to leave it here, if anyone has that motion.
I've already spoke. I'll make the motion to stay in legislative committee.
There's a motion to leave this here in legislative. Is there support?
Support.
It's been moved and properly supported. Thank you, Emily. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin?
Yes.
And the vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. That ordinance stays in legislative. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn by Councilwoman Judy Priestley. Is there support? Supported by Councilman Leon Alamin. Roll call. Madam Clerk.
Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is absent. Ms. Burns is absent. Ms. Mashat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is absent. Mr. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Alamin? Yes. Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. It is now 7:02 p.m., Wednesday, January 22nd. This legislative committee meeting is adjourned. The time is now 7:02 p.m., Wednesday, January 22nd. I call this Governmental Operations Committee to order. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Alamin? Ms. Lewis?
Present.
Ms. Priestley?
Present.
Ms. Winfrey Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Mashat?
Present.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Present. You have 5 members present.
We have 5 members present. Are there any requests for agenda changes or additions? Seeing as how there are no requests for agenda changes or additions, it is now time for public comment. Members of the public who wish to address the city council or its committees must register before the meeting begins. A box will be placed at the entrance to the city council chambers for collection of registrations. No additional speakers or slips will be accepted after the meeting begins. Members of the public shall have no more than 3 minutes per speaker during public comment, with only 1 speaking opportunity per speaker. All speakers are subject to the disorderly person city code subsection 1st. Public speaker, Madam Clerk.
First speaker is Rich Jones.
How y'all doing once again? First of all, I want to address Mr. Liddell Lewis about me having allies. I misphrased myself when I said I don't have any allies. I meant to say I don't have any allies in this room. I have plenty of allies. And also, I want to thank y'all for being lenient with me because I do have a loud voice. Most of the times that I'm heard in this echo-filled room, I don't mean to disrupt y'all, but every now and then, I do get a little bit loud. So I want to thank y'all for y'all leniency, but it's not bad. And and then I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's impossible to sit out in these seats and watch and listen to y'all and not have nothing to say. It's impossible. And me, myself, I have a loud voice, so sometimes during the meetings, I just go downstairs and listen to y'all downstairs because I do know that I have a loud voice. But I don't really mean any harm. The few times when my voice got really loud, it was because I was frustrated. Y'all was having a whole bunch of negative meetings. And I got throughout because I felt that Judy Priestley should have been chairing the meeting instead of Liddell Lewis. So yeah, I remember that day. And so when I get out of hand, I know it. But once again, I want to thank y'all. And as far as the St. Mark's go, once again, just pleading with y'all, do what's right. Do what's right. I really feel that if y'all did a serious outreach to the residents in your community, you will find out that every one of y'all have residents that gets in that line. So just think about more than yourself once and do what's right for the St. Mark's. And like I said before, when it comes to the Ray Vaughn situation, And I think Leon attended an event that we had last, was it Monday? Martin Luther King Day Monday, and I think he probably, because it was a petition there, and I'm quite sure he signed them. So, and I'm not going to put any pressure and ask y'all to get signatures or anything like that. I'm not going to do that. I know I said I was, but I'm not. But I will say this. If y'all do want a petition sheet, I'm at the Oak Business Center Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5 to 7 o'clock. So if anybody want to come down there and sign a petition for justice for Rayvon or join in, they can come down there. And thank y'all very much.
Next public speaker, Madam Clerk.
The last speaker for this meeting is R.L. Mitchell.
Hello, Ms. Shack. I'm back. I'm R.L. Mitchell. To address the county popo and all them popos on the outskirts, like in Grand Blanc and all the rest of them around, like you seen, our administration don't want to pay them they dues. When they come over, when they be chasing the Flint boys back into the county, they want some of that money of what we got too. But you see, the chief of police, when he must come up here and address the situation, because you see what he said. He said that's a question for the chief, and just like the hospitals, Hurley Hospital, want to sick the beat the peoples of color for getting away with free operation in Flint. They don't want to. They want them 3 hospitals then step up and talk with McLaren, Hurley Hospital, and Flint Orthopedics. You see them all went in Grand Blanc, but now they want their money tax from the people. Think they got away, we the people, and nobody. And the mayor downstairs ain't much coming upstairs to address it, but trying to keep their money. And every time they come chasing somebody, killing somebody accidentally, like out in Burton, I seen Flint police head-on collision with the Burton police. I guess they settled that out of court and they wanted to tell the Flintstones, we the peoples. I just moved out there, and they had to call the mayor to get me out of the department behind Myers. They said, sir, you just got enough. What you doing? I built a church out there behind Myers, and they actually shot a deer rifle over my head for going through the woods. I know what a deer rifle sounded like because they had an echo when it went over my head. I think they was trying to hit me, but they couldn't shoot right. Walking in all that swampland, going to get through my church, Harris Memorial Church of God in Christ. And they done some more stuff out there, stole all them big rocks. I didn't know them things were $500 a piece. One little white woman looked like Shorty Tipper. Hey, sir, can I have one of your rocks? I said, yeah. And the next day, I had about 100 rocks, like a pyramid. They had stole them all. And when the head deacon come back from Memphis, he said, where the rocks at? I said, them white people's coming again. I didn't know they could steal that. He said, he took responsibility for his mouth. I built a $6 million church out there. It's a storefront. It's still a church storefront, but it's a $6 million store. Anyway, people's out. We better pay them country bunkers like the beacher cops. They used to come across Capitol Road, but now they come over there chasing like they can't chase nobody, right, shooting all the wrong way and all. And stay tuned, America. Yep.
Thank you. Seeing as how that was the last public speaker, it is now time for council comment. Is there anyone who would like the floor at this time? Seeing as how there is no one who would like the floor at this time during council response, we will now move on to our discussion item, which is 240028-T, discussion item 2024 Neighborhood Safety Officers NSO report. And this discussion item was requested by Second Ward Council Member Lewis, and this is regarding the 2024 NSO report. Now, this discussion item does not have a time limit on there, so we are going to set a time limit for this discussion item now. If we are going to move forward with this discussion item, it is completely up to the requester of said item, so I will ask you, are we moving forward with this discussion item, and are we setting a time limit?
Madam Chair, I would like to move this discussion item to the Special Affairs meeting, and I would like to make the time limit 20 minutes.
Correct, and I'm assuming that you, not correct, but thank you. I'm assuming that you want to move this discussion item because there is no one present that can actually speak to this report. I see that there's no staff back there. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor to move this discussion item to Special Affairs. Is there support? And when we move this item to Special Affairs, are we requesting the presence of those who can speak to this report?
Absolutely.
Madam Clerk, we are putting in a request for you to request their presence for a discussion item, which during Special Affairs, I guess that's when we will determine the actual time of the discussion item, because I would imagine that there will be 8 council members here at this point, and 20 minutes might not be enough. But that will be up to the body, I guess, or up to whomever.
We can always add time.
We can always add time. So we'll start right now with a 20-minute discussion and request the presence of those who can speak to this report for during Special Affairs. All right, and it's been properly supported. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Madam Chair.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would like to specifically ask the NSO supervisor to be in attendance.
Correct. Okay, thank you. I don't know why I keep saying correct. Thank you. Madam Clerk, there has been a request made by Councilwoman Priestley that the NSO supervisor be in attendance to discuss this report as well. So in addition to their supervisor and their supervisor, is there anyone else that we need present? All right, we'll say those 2 specifically, and then we'll also include all necessary parties, which I'm sure the city administrator will be there anyway. So, and this is for a 20-minute Special Affairs discussion.
All on you, girl.
Yeah, y'all love doing that. That's
Oh,
just
support.
No, it was already
No, it's already
supported, but Mr.
Okay.
Elamine stepped out, so we can't do a roll
we
call
can't do a
vote
vote.
until he steps back in.
Madam Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
can I just point out that the discussion item can be added to the agenda without a vote?
I'm sorry, what was that?
This discussion item could be added to the agenda without a vote?
I mean, it's my, yeah, go ahead, it's my committee, so we can add it. That's fine. We don't need to vote on it, that's fine.
As soon as he comes, we can motion to adjourn.
Yeah, we can motion to adjourn. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Motion to adjourn.
There's been a motion to adjourn. Is there support? Moved and properly supported by the councilwoman in the 2nd Ward. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Elamine? Yes. Ms. Lewis? Yes. Ms. Priestley?
Yes.
Ms. Carter is not in. Ms. Burns is not in. Ms. Shat?
Yes.
Mr. Pfeiffer is not in. Mr. Jarrett? Yes. The vote is 5 yes, 0 no.
The vote is 5 yes, 0 no. The time is 7:14 p.m. Wednesday, January 22nd. I call this Governmental Operations Committee. It is now adjourned.